Today, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Johanne Oakley to my couch. Johanne has been a coach and mentor for over 25 years. She's coached the young and the old. She's coached entrepreneurs, many business owners, women and men alike. She's been there and she's seen it all. So I'm really excited to introduce Jo.
Hi,
Jo.
Hi.
So I want to go through some of my most favourite business strategies and scenarios with Jo today, because I really want you to get some takeaway snippets from this. So we are going to start with let's get messy. It's a real favourite of mine. So many of us procrastinate, stay on our head and don't know where to begin. So Jo, I know it's a favourite topic of yours too. Start messy.
It's about, getting rid of that whole concept of perfection, that things have to be perfect before we start. It's what I love about you, Jan, and your work. I think it's about saying, this is my dream, this is my goal. I'm going to start no matter how small, no matter how tiny the first step is, and I'm going to make myself accountable to somebody. It doesn't have to be a coach or a professional, but it can really help us on the days when we think, we don't look right, or we don't feel right, or just the last piece of work we did doesn't feel perfect. That's okay. Take the next step.
Take the next step. That's really good, in small chunks. One of the things I think is really helpful, I know we've done this when we've worked together, you can sometimes be so overwhelmed with the scale of it, and a great thing that you've always taught me is to write it down.
My favourite line, get it out there. I think it's huge for women, but I think men as well. I work with predominantly female entrepreneurs, as you know, and I think it's really important, just no matter what your format. I personally say keep it simple.
Yeah.
You know me, flip charts. Get yourself a flip chart. It'll be the best investment you ever make. Get yourself your thick felt tips. Get everything out on paper. And here's the really magical part. Get it up on the wall. So we know from the way the brain works, if we're looking up at something, it takes us into our creative space.
Yeah.
Get it out, get it up on the wall. I don't care where. I don't care if it's in your bathroom, so that you're checking, as you brush your teeth in the morning. But get everything in your head out onto paper.
Brilliant. Okay. And another thing I've got from you is sometimes you've got this idea and this concept and you think, right, I'm going to do so much this week. I'm going to get all this packed in. I want another tip to pull out from you, Jo, where you'll actually work with a client and say, well, how can you physically pack that into your week? You make people accountable. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, it's a huge theme at the moment, actually, with so many of the female entrepreneurs and creatives that I'm coaching. And this one. We all have busy lives.
Yeah.
We don't exist on an island. We have perhaps, families, children, partners, and other work perhaps even going on. So it's really about, it sounds very simple, but if you don't have a huge desk diary and you don't have stuff up on the wall breaking your day down, women are really needing a lot of support on this one. They think, I can do it, because naturally we're doers, naturally we get 3 things done at once.
Yeah.
Actually, when you're starting a business, we need to really start to diary differently.
Yeah.
And the whole diarying thing. So one of my big things is what is your diary system?
Yeah.
Because let's break down where are you losing half hour, an hour, because that's really powerful resource time for you.
That we can pull back.
Yeah.
So really what you're telling us is, diary planning is absolutely key.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. I think we've got that one. So my next one, I love to call this removing the blinders. So many people talk about the comfort zone, and yes, the comfort zone is there and we have to grow and we have to stretch. But one of the things I love about Jo is she attacks from the positive. So taking those blinders off is all about removing the blocks. So Jo, my question for you is, how do we reframe our view, change the lens, and how do we move through our own personal blocks?
Wow.
It's a big question.
You love the big questions, Jamfu. It's why I love working with you. I think it's about investing in ourselves. I think for all of us, women and men that I work with, I think it's about taking the time. I think to do our inner work is, it's not an easy answer, this one.
Yeah.
But I think to take the time, that can mean a half hour with a professional or the person that you work with in this way. It doesn't have to be a professional. But it's about a half hour, perhaps it's a half hour for you every couple of weeks to say, you know, this is coming up for me.
Yeah.
And I see that it's something that perhaps I've got a blind spot with. I wonder why that's,
That's really good. And I find when you are creatively growing a business, without a doubt, there will be things that come up inside you and tell you can't do this, you're not good enough to do this. That is your ego side talking to you. And you, unless you've got an incredibly strong support team around you and you've been down this path before, I think you do need someone there to say, hang on a minute, let's just reframe this. Let's just take a different look through the lens and maybe think about it in a different direction. And I know that's happened for me, Jo, multiple times.
Yeah, and it's about, that's okay. And we get on the phone or we send a text to the person that we're working with and we say, actually, I need to revisit this. It doesn't matter how many times. The same as if we set our sat-nav and came across a roadblock, you know, we wouldn't go, oh, I won't bother going to work then, or I won't bother going to meet this client. We would find a resource and find a way through it. And often it is to work with our patterns that have come up, and they probably do come up in other places. And I think that's a really powerful thing about entrepreneurs, is we get this really fabulous opportunity to really powerfully get our blocks out of the way, in a way that perhaps people who work in different ways and that don't get, because we are out there on our own. We're showing up every day on our own, even if you are in a partnership.
I think that's what I was resonating with, is the fact that by focusing and being strong and taking that decision to go out there and get yourself out there, it does bring up this stuff, and you clear it along the way, and it adds more passion and fuel to the business.
Absolutely, and it can become your fuel, is your fuel.
Okay, Jo, she likes the big questions. So another, you know, there's so many parts to being an entrepreneur or small business owner, and some of it is marketing, some of it will be finance, some of it will be staff. There's so many sections to the wheel. One really important thing for me is your money mindset. So Jo, I believe that money is the energy of any small business. How can we improve or look at our relationship with money?
I think it's so vital. Anyone who is making money for themselves has to put this first and forefront, really. I guess after your own health and your own well-being. I think we really need to look at our story around money. You've heard me say this before. Yeah. We need to look at what our needs are around money. They will be different. I have a lot of coaches who talk to me about, you know, my partner says this, I need to do this. Actually, it's about what we need. So it's getting everybody, all the noise out of the way. What is it I need to feel secure, safe and happy? And how is my story interfering with that?
But in terms of your business, how does that relate?
It's about three practical things. It's always about having the strands that you know you want to work with for your. I would offer. I mean, I'm not a business coach, as you know. I'm a transformational life coach, but I would offer looking at where you're getting stuck. So if something's working for you, brilliant. We don't need to fix it. Where is stuff getting stuck? So for me, if people are getting stuck in the thinking, the anxiety around money, for example, then let's look at that. Then that's about actually looking at your anxiety and breaking down that fear.
And I think in business it could be, some scenarios could be, can I charge enough? Am I worth that amount of money? So what would you talk about with that?
That's a huge one, and it relates. I would say brilliant, and I would say everything in our head about what we charge and whether we can charge. You know, do we charge someone that actually is an old friend?
The friendship one always comes in.
All of that stuff, because that's a great way to start your business. It really is so important to have I call it your money esteem. You know, it's very, very related to your self-esteem.
Money esteem.
Your money esteem is, you know, your body esteem, your money esteem, your self-esteem. It's all part of your self-esteem. Is really to kind of step back and say, well, would I expect somebody who, you know, perhaps you have a friend who, I don't know, is an A&E doctor or a nurse. Would you actually expect to go in and see them in A&E and actually them to leave their work, come and meet you in your little space and say sod it to their job and see you instead of fulfilling their day job? Well, of course you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the same when you work for yourself. So we really have to value our product and our work.
Yeah. And so many times as a business, people feel, oh, I've got to discount my service or, you know, I think I've got to do that to be with the competition. And so many times have I seen this with my own clients coaching. When you differentiate yourself and you really stand up for what you bring to the marketplace, which will be unique, your clients are willing and happy, your people are willing to pay for that service because you're bringing them something different. And you have to believe in yourself, Jo, don't you?
100%. I always kind of something I reference, and you can pick your own sort of idol or hero or business hero, whatever it is, whoever it is that you like, that you kind of get a sense of empowerment from. But I always like to say to people, well, and they say, oh, you know, but I feel unhappy about charging this. I'm just starting out. Perhaps
I get that a lot. Yeah.
And I say, well, you know, when you go on to book a flight to go somewhere next year, do you expect not to pay for it? And it doesn't matter which your budget is, which airline you're working with. Do you expect to book a flight and not pay for it?
Yeah. No, nobody.
Because actually you won't get anywhere if you don't pay for it. So do you want, actually we're giving our clients a great gift. The other part of this is about valuing our clients, because actually we're giving our clients a great gift. I personally feel that if people don't invest, you know, money is energy. You know this, Jan, you know what I say. Yep. Money is energy. And people have a tough time getting their heads around that when I say that. But money is just energy.
Yeah.
So if I'm giving you my energy and you're not giving me any energy back, what are the chances you're going to invest in all of the action steps?
So I really like that. I hope you really do get the money mindset. It's so important that you get that right. It's so important whether you're on a current journey where you feel that your marketplace is saturated and you're trying to compete on price, or it may be that, again, you are new and you're just starting out and you're thinking, am I worth it? Can I do it? So really, thank you, Jo. I love the money mindset. So on to our next question. The question we're going to end with Jo, is balance, work-life balance. Now that sounds like quite vague, and you know, maybe people talk about, can we have it all and can we have this balance? But I would say to you, as working in my own career, and originally in my own estate agency business of 11 years now, one of the things I found really hard is it's quite a masculine industry. And in the early years, I felt I almost had to hide the fact that I was a mother with teenage sons and I was raising them. And I went to many boardroom meetings and very male-oriented, and I would never discuss that part of my life, or almost felt I had to squash it. And I think it's one of the biggest things that people struggle with. So for you, Jo, I'd like to talk about that balance, not in sort of a girly, you know, way of like, how do we have it all, but more, you have to juggle, and you have to juggle so hard. And it could be, you know, you've got somebody sick in the family, there could be an illness, there could be it could be money worries, there could be so many different things. But I would like from you, like, how we get our game back up, how we get the game face on, and how we get right back in the saddle, and we manage that.
I love that metaphor of getting right back in the saddle. It's so, I'm so thrilled when I see coaches do it. I am always so proud of myself when I do it. We do have families, we have stuff going on, we have health issues, we have, you know, small traumas, big traumas, that's life. And I think for me, it's sort of back, it might sound repetitive, but it's sort of about having somebody in your corner. Again, it doesn't have to be a professional. This is about having someone to really hold you accountable to the ways in which you clear your stuff.
Right.
So what are you doing for your body? What are you doing for your mind? You know, for me...
So can I just stop you right there and ask you, so the next thing that people normally get at this point is, are you doing self-care? Are you taking self-care? And business owners will think, oh, does that mean, you know, I need to go home and have a hot tub and light a candle? If we're going to the
Yeah.
self-care bit, Jo, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's not fluffy stuff.
This is not about, I happen to love bubble baths, but this is not about pink fluffy, I have to mind my language, so I can't say what I'd normally say, and you know what it would be, Jan, but pink fluffy stuff. You know, if your big deep hot bath is your thing and it is mine, then do that. And some days I do it at both ends of the day, you know, and everyone knows that's my sacred space. But it's not about that. It's about really holding yourself accountable. If I've had a bad night or I've slept poorly, or I know I'm not going to get to exercise today, or I'm not going to get to speak to my trusted person or whoever I have my closest relationships with, then what am I going to do for myself? Mm-hmm. Am I going to journal? Am I going to have, you know, I like to call it, am I going to have a little chat with myself?
Yeah.
You know, am I going to, it doesn't cost anything to get up out of your desk and go for a 25-minute walk.
And that's what I was really thinking, Jo, because there are so many times when you are sat at your desk in your own business and you may be thinking about home or things that are happening, and it will completely alter your mood. And I say, get up, go out, grab a cup of coffee, smile at somebody in the queue, really have a conversation with somebody you weren't going to have a conversation with. I will actually on some days think, today I'm actually going to go to my favourite friend Ginger, but I'm going to go and buy that soup that cost me 15 quid instead of nipping down the road for something cheap or a sausage roll or something that's crap for my body. It's small things where I think, no, I'm actually putting goodness in. I'm actually going to spend the time. I might read something from a book that's really interesting to me, but I do think it is self-care and understanding what self-care is.
Yeah, coaches say all the time, you know, but I don't have time for that. I don't have time to go to a yoga class. Pick up a book. You know, go to a secondhand bookshop, order one from Amazon, you can get them for pennies. Buy one of the brilliant, you know, whatever you're drawn to. You know, for me, I've probably got the 5, but it's probably down to 3 books actually, you know. If on a really bad day, what does it cost me and how much time does it take to pick up a book and read 3 sentences?
A passage, yeah. Or Audible, you know. I mean, I'm a devourer of books, as I think you will have seen if you follow me on my Instagram account. But I've always got 5 or 6 books on the go, and then I've always got 3 downloaded on Audible. So,
and you know me, Jan, I'm always carrying, no matter how heavy my luggage is, my big bag with, you know, I'll have 2 or 3 books in my bag. Yeah. So if you do get stuck on a journey or you've become frustrated because of a client or a piece of work has gone badly, you know, go back to your core, go back to your centre yourself. Yeah. Make your plan. What tiny thing can I do today to keep my balance? Yeah. To keep my core in check, to keep my inner world reflecting what I want in my outer world.
I think that's really good. I hope you've got some brilliant takeaway tips from us today. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me, Jan.
I've absolutely loved it. If you want to find out more, go to janfu.com.